Imagine you're living 10,000 years ago. There are no cities, no hospitals, no modern medicine, just endless wilderness in every direction. And somewhere in that wilderness, humans come across a strange plant. A plant that would eventually become one of the most controversial plants in the world. Today, billions of people know its name. But the question is, how did humans first discover it? And how did they realize that this plant could have such unusual effects on the human mind? Our story begins on the vast grasslands of Central Asia. Thousands of years ago, wild cannabis plants grew naturally throughout the region. Ancient humans constantly experimented with new plants. Their survival depended on knowing which plants were safe to eat, which could be used as medicine, and which were poisonous. Researchers believe cannabis may have been discovered in much the same way. At first, people were interested in its remarkably strong fibers. These fibers could be used to make ropes, fishing nets, and clothing. In other words, cannabis was initially valued not as an intoxicant, but as a highly useful agricultural plant. But then, something unexpected happened. Imagine a group of people sitting around a fire. One day, some dried cannabis accidentally ends up in the flames. Smoke drifts into the air. After a while, the people begin noticing unusual changes in how they feel.
It may have been one of the earliest experiences of its kind in human history. We don't know exactly how this discovery happened.
But historians believe that many ancient societies gradually realized that certain parts of the plant could influence human emotions, perception, and behavior.
And with that realization, a new chapter began. Ancient Chinese records contain some of the earliest known references to cannabis. In certain cultures, it was used for medicinal purposes. In others, it became part of religious ceremonies. Elsewhere, it was associated with meditation and spiritual practices. Slowly, cannabis became more than just a plant. It became woven into culture, belief systems, and traditional medicine. Trade routes helped spread the plant across new regions, from Asia to the Middle East, from the Middle East to Africa, then into Europe, and eventually to much of the world.
Modern science has provided an important clue. Cannabis contains a chemical compound known as THC.
This compound interacts with a natural biological system in the human body called the endocannabinoid system. This system is involved in regulating mood, memory, appetite, and various neurological functions. That is why cannabis can affect different people in different ways. For some, the effects may be mild. For others, they may be much stronger. And that is one reason scientists continue to study its effects today.
The 20th century brought major changes. Many countries began restricting or banning cannabis. Concerns grew about its potential risks and public health impacts.
At the same time, researchers continued investigating its possible medical applications. Some viewed cannabis as a promising medical tool, others saw it as a public health concern. And that debate has never truly ended. A wild plant, thousands of years of history, countless civilizations, endless controversy.
When humans first discovered cannabis,
they could never have imagined that this ordinary-looking plant would one day become the subject of global discussions involving law, science, medicine, and culture. But perhaps the most surprising part is this. Even after thousands of years, humanity still hasn't finished asking questions about cannabis. In fact, it's possible that we're only beginning to understand its full story.